Florida, August 1992. A massacre at a crowded restaurant leaves 4 dead, 18 wounded. The gunmen are Jamaican gangsters.
Since 1986, we estimate over 4,500 deaths attributed to Jamaican violence.
And peddle hard drugs.
In an area notorious for drug dealing. When they approached two men
has turned the spotlight on those who smuggle and peddle hard drugs. Suspicion has fallen on
this
a
community hall in Stoke Newington that Leslie, a notorious Yardie drug dealer,
Police spent the early weeks of last year keeping watch on a crack factory here. It was a difficult operation.
American federal agents warn of the threat that London faces from the
an underground station. After a chase,
the Yardies have been described as the latest organised crime network, the new mafia on the streets of Britain.
The other drugs gangs aside, many Jamaican exiles have put down roots in Brooklyn, bringing with them the culture of Kingston. It provided the ideal cover for the Yardies to move in. The Jamaican street gangs became known as posses. One of the most successful, with links to the People's National Party, had its nerve centre in this building. A posse from Kingston called the Gully Men killed the owner of the block, and for 7 years they ran it as the headquarters of an operation dealing in marijuana, heroin and crack cocaine. It was a license to print money. At its peak they were pulling in $60,000 a day. And the arrival of the Gully Men is a textbook example of the way in which the Jamaican gang seize a piece of turf and make it their own. The vast crack factory symbolised the potential of the US market. But the Gully Men's fortune became the envy of other Yardies, and the violence of Kingston was transplanted to a new arena.
A lot of shootings occurred right here on this corner. There were numerous drive-by shootings. Eventually, the most ruthless of that family driving by was eventually killed, and one of the alleged shooters of that individual and the murderers was Desmond Brown.
Desmond Brown, protected by his Yardie network, is now on the run. We tracked him down at a safe house. He's wanted for murder and faces a life sentence. The man he killed was a Yardie rival from Kingston.
Them come from the same area when me the born and grew up to, just as well as them, but the most bigger man was a kid, that's why they know me. But the man was to leave from the community of Jamaican in other places to hide until they make it them own selves to America. So, and I have problems with my family.
The Yardies never lose their links with Kingston. As they fought for control of the Brooklyn crack market, they turned to their old street corners for recruits.
They would not really trust any of the local Americans here to work. What they would do is recruit their own people from back in Jamaica, in the Kingston area, surrounding neighborhoods. They would bring their own people up here to the United States using false passports or green cards for whatever reason to travel. Bring them here, and the new people that would arrive would now become the workers on the street actually selling the drugs.
In Jamaica, you go anywhere, someone have the money and you want to.
Did you come to New York on your own passport or false documents?
See, false documents.
So you've been living on false documents?
Yeah.
Time will be approximately 1 p.m. He is a male black Jamaican, approximately
Agents of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms, the so-called untouchables, are planning a drugs raid.
We'll set up on Park right here, and then Carlos and I will be in the graffiti van here, the informant. He's not going to buy anything, but judging by their reaction, I'll give you guys the call.
Their target is a gang of Jamaican Yardies making and selling crack in Brooklyn.
Guys try to run. That's beautiful. God bless you, Joe.
Howie has seen one of the defendants with a gun on him. Is that right, Howie?
The hospital, do we need it? St. Mary's Hospital.
A report by the Bureau identified 30,000 Yardies in the United States. They don't have an organized structure like the Mafia. Their alliances are forged by the street corner politics of Kingston.
The only thing that would stop us from going in, if he says, we don't have anything right now, come back in a half an hour.
Behind me.
The raid is well timed. The agents find one of their targets as expected in this apartment. A second has been arrested at the front of the building.
We got Dennis downstairs. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that.
With one apartment secured, it's learned there are suspects in another.
Need the bunker in a rim. Take the shit, Joe. Bunker in a rim. Right behind. Please! 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 Go, go, go! Please! All right, go, go, go! Please! Please! Please!
The arrested man has been cooking crack for the afternoon trade.
All right, we have stuff. We have product.
The captive, still in his teens, is an illegal immigrant. Constant seizures of crack have been a blow to Yardie operations in the United States. In the US, arrest for crack dealing means an automatic jail term. If just 5 grams is found, it's a mandatory sentence of 5 years. The ringleader, who was arrested outside, is another Yardie from Kingston, who entered the States on false documents. For the authorities, keeping track of such mobile criminals, who can change their identities at will, presents a unique challenge.
They're every law enforcement officer's nightmare. They're people with tremendous amounts of disposable cash. They have a network internationally, and they're people without any background. They're people without paper trails.
These guns were found in the bedroom. It's a Beretta 380 caliber.
In the States, and increasingly in Britain, the Yardies favour the most powerful weaponry.
It's also semi-automatic. Guns and drugs go together. The guns are used to protect the drug business, and you know, we pretty much expect to find them when we go in. This was found on the table in the living room. Looks as though he was breaking off the crack into small pieces and putting them into vials like this.
The success of this raid depended on informants. Infiltration of the gangs has put hundreds of Yardies in jail in America in the last few years.
It is very difficult for drug selling in this place. It's broken, completely broken right now. The best shot right now is Europe.
Why Europe?
It's the only undeveloped market that really exists outside there now. One of the only undeveloped markets. It is newly opening and everybody wants a piece of the cake.
In Britain, the Yardies have already been active. A police operation in South London identified a number of Jamaican gangsters who'd entered the country on false passports. The murder of Police Constable Patrick Dunn in Clapham last October is the strongest possible evidence that the lure of crack dealing is attracting the Yardies to Britain.
They certainly perceive the money in the UK as a prime target, because the American market and the Canadian market is totally flooded with crack cocaine. We are still a growth industry for them. The amount of money they make per deal is vastly greater here than what it is in the United States and Canada.
The murder of P.C. Dunn led to police inquiries not just in London, but the United States and Jamaica. Faced with the Yardies, the police have been forced to adopt an international strategy.
The people that are selling drugs on the streets of London, of Birmingham these days, are the same people who will tomorrow be selling drugs on the streets of New York City, who next week will be selling drugs on the streets of Dallas or of Toronto or wherever. these are not local criminals. These are truly international people.